Welcome to episode 9 of Terra Talks. Today, let us answer the question, what are sustainability and biodegradability? In the context of the environment and development, sustainability means that we meet our needs without compromising the planet's or future generations' need. This is also known as sustainable development. As economic development takes place, social equality and environmental well-being also needs to be considered and taken care of. That equilibrium is sustainability. The UN has created 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which tackle climate change, poverty, health, and a myriad of other issues that aid sustainable development, which in turn supports sustainability. One of the multiple facets of sustainability is biodegradability. Imagine a banana peel. When you throw it away, it doesn't stick around forever, right? Over time, tiny living things like bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms break it down, turning it into soil. That's biodegradability. It's like nature's way of recycling. But just because something is biodegradable doesn't mean it breaks down quickly. Some things take a long time. That's why it's important to reduce, reuse, and recycle whenever possible. Welcome to Terra Talks episode 10. Today let us answer the question, what exactly is waste management? Waste management is a fundamental part of sustainability because it reduces resource consumption and prevents pollution if done well. Imagine all the stuff you throw away. There are 4 main types of waste: hazardous, organic, inorganic, and mixed. It can be hazardous or non-hazardous depending on its impact on us and the environment. Some examples of hazardous waste are medical waste, harsh chemicals, radioactive, nuclear, and even electronic waste. With many types of waste come many ways to manage it. Hazardous waste, if handled properly, is usually treated to reduce the hazard or dispose of in specialized landfills or incinerators. The most common way to handle most household and office waste is to dump it in a landfill away from residential areas. But now, because there's so much waste, it's even more common to incinerate or burn the waste, even at a landfill. There's also a method which uses the waste to generate biogas. However, dealing with waste is challenging, so the best option is to reduce the creation of waste in the first place. That's where the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, come in. Reduce consumption by only buying things you need or that will last a long time. Reuse, upcycle, or exchange your old items with your community before purchasing new ones. For example, old glass bottles can be upcycled into plant vases. Lastly, recycling is for inorganic items like glass, metal, and plastic. And we'd like to add a new R, that is resource. And that is where we'd like to think of waste as a resource instead of waste. The prime example of this is composting. Welcome to Terra Talks episode 11. In this episode, let us answer the question, what is composting? In the last episode, we discussed what waste and waste management are, and picking up where we left off, today we will learn about using waste as a resource, and that is called composting. Worldwide, 2.12 billion tons of waste is generated annually, about 750 grams per person per day. This is a lot of waste, and 1.13 billion tons or half of this is food waste, which is organic. So just as we consume food and our body breaks it down for energy, composting is similar. It breaks the organic matter down and makes the soil nutrient rich. So it's a win-win. We get rid of waste while giving back to the planet. Now, there are 3 different types of composting: aerobic, anaerobic, and vermicomposting. Aerobic is when we compost in an open pit and aerate it regularly. Anaerobic is a closed pit when oxygen isn't needed and the waste breaks down by fermentation. And vermicomposting is when worms do the composting for you. Composting improves soil health and is a free fertilizer for the soil. The main components of composting include greens, browns, oxygen, and water. Greens are material rich in nitrogen like food scraps or leaves. Browns are material rich in carbon like wood chips or paper. When mixed with water and oxygen, these can create a nutrient-rich compost. The key is to balance the ingredients. Head to our recent blog about composting for more tips and tricks to start composting at home, including more details about what to put into your compost and how to troubleshoot any issues you face. You might find some interesting things to include in your compost. Many companies are creating biodegradable alternatives to otherwise non-biodegradable products. A prime example of which is Saathi pads, which uses completely biodegradable bamboo fibers, where a pad will completely degrade in 6 months naturally, contrary to other commercial pads that are made of single-use plastic and stick around forever. The short introduction about composting is just the beginning. Imagine a world where everything has a purpose, where resources are constantly reused and recycled. That's a circular economy, which we'll cover in the next episode. Before we go, we want to leave you with a question for the week. What steps can we take to encourage composting in our community? future of our planet is at stake if we don't shift towards a more sustainable circular economy. But what is a circular economy? First, let's talk about what is a linear economy. This is the most common way things are made. First, you start with the resources, then you make the product, customers use the product, and then it's disposed of and it turns into waste. Due to this model, we now have a lot of work to do regarding waste management. On the other hand, we have a circular economy where products are designed such that the whole life cycle of the product is considered and optimized to reduce waste. In a circular economy, sharing, leasing, recycling, regenerating, or reusing ensure that the resources and products are used to the maximum, and also look at ways to assimilate the waste back into the environment so that it's beneficial to the planet. To demonstrate what a circular business model looks like, let us take the example of Saathi. First, we use banana and bamboo fiber, which are generally a waste material, and at the manufacturing unit, we convert these into our pads. The final pads and packaging degrade within 6 months, thus returning to the soil where the banana and bamboo plants can grow again, therefore completing the cycle. But first, why should we even adopt a circular economy? There are many benefits, including green job creation, improved health, mitigating climate change, and conserving our limited resources. But there are also challenges. First of all, the transition from linear to circular economy is tough to master quickly because there are limitations to technology and availability of solutions, and changing consumer mindsets and behaviors to prioritize sustainability can be challenging. So how do we get started? Everyone from government to businesses to consumer play a role in the transition to a circular economy. The government can build infrastructure for recycling and implement policy interventions and guidance to support the circular economy, such as subsidies for sustainable products, regulations for waste management, and incentives for businesses. Businesses, of course, need to design and create circular products and processes and slowly transition each of the steps of production to be more sustainable, efficient, and conscious of the environment. And lastly, consumers can raise awareness and practice all the things we discussed in the last few episodes, which are given here. Tune in next week for our new segment, Part 4, Beyond the Basics, and our next episode, which will cover the UN Sustainable Goals or SDGs, many of which are linked to circular economy. And with that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when the next episode drops. Over and out, fellow Earth Defenders.